Emily Hennahan with Little Sleepers and Dreamers.com, and I am your pediatric sleep consultant. Are you currently struggling with a fussy child? Maybe you have these fussy evenings and you just can't get your baby settled. Or maybe it's bedtime and you just want them to fall asleep, but instead they are crying and crying. Or maybe in the middle of the night, you are waking up to find that they are up and crying and just not settling. This video will tell you all about what to do when your child is fussy. And I'm even going to let you in on the mistake I made as a new parent with a fussy baby. So let's begin by talking about fussy evenings. So as I said, I made a big mistake as a first-time mom. So I had heard that you really want to keep your child awake close to bedtime so that they are tired enough to go to sleep when it is time to sleep, and also prevent them from sleeping too much during the day so they sleep at night. So those were the two rules of thumb that I was kind of thinking about when I kept my little newborn up for over 3 hours. Now, if you are familiar with newborns and wake windows, you would know that 3 hours is way too long. For my little guy, he probably shouldn't have been awake for more than an hour at this point. And he was being kept awake for such a large chunk of time. And oh, did he want to sleep. He would go to close his eyes, and my husband and I would do all the tricks to keep him awake because I thought that he just had to stay awake so he would go to sleep at bedtime. What I was doing was overtiring him. And you may know that overtired babies are so much harder to get to sleep. They are not able to just settle and go to sleep, and so they cry and they cry. And with my son, he would cry for a very long time. It took us about 2 or 3 hours to settle him and get him to sleep after we kept him awake for so long. So I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. If you are unsure of what schedule your child should be on so they don't get overtired, then go ahead in the description below, click on the link to a free schedule just for you. I made schedules for every age group to take the guesswork out of it. Another thing that could be making your little one fussy in the evening is overstimulation. Maybe there's a large TV that is on and the lights are flickering and it's just too much for your little one. Or maybe the sounds of the loud TV or music or just the chaos of a loud family. Go ahead and take your little one into a quiet room. Try to relax them and just calm their bodies so that they are not overstimulated anymore. Now, another thing you can do is Dr. Harvey Karp's 5 S's. The first S is to swaddle your little one. Now, some of you might think, oh, but my little one hates the swaddle. You can go ahead and do it without their arms if you feel like that is more comfortable for them. But really try to go tight around their arms, looser in the hips, and get them snug because they are used to that snug feeling when they were in the womb. So the first S is swaddle. The next one is side or stomach position. So turn them, you can lay them across your arm, however you want to do that, so that they are on their side or on their stomach, because that is a very soothing position for them. The next one is to shush. So you want to be shushing in their little ear. And remember, when they were in the womb, they heard this very loud shushing noise as all the sounds of inside the room happened around them. So something as even loud as a vacuum can be calming to them. So don't feel like you're being too loud with your shushing. You do want to be loud and shush them as you have them swaddled on their side or stomach position. And then you want to swing. Now, you want to be careful that you're not swinging too hard, too much, especially if they're really little. So just a little bit each direction will do the trick. So after that, you want to give them something to suck. So giving them a pacifier or even your finger, if it's clean, can help them to soothe and quiet down. So implementing these 5 S's of swaddling, side or stomach position, shushing, swinging, and sucking can really help get your child calm again. And the last thing is that a lot of parents think that in the evenings especially, they might be experiencing gas. And actually, that's probably not the case. Studies have found that gas is typically not the reason for fussy children. But if you think that is the case, go ahead, talk to your pediatrician and get their advice on what you should be doing. Now that is how you can help your child in the evenings. But now say it's time for bed and they are fussy. They don't want to lay down and go to sleep. What can you do? Here are some suggestions. The first thing you want to do is make sure that the room they are sleeping in, whether it's their own nursery or your room for the time being, make sure it is a calm and welcoming environment. As you are getting them ready for bed, have the lights dim, have the temperature just right between 68, 72 degrees, and also make sure it is quiet. You don't want any TVs or music on. You want to help get them soothed and ready to go to sleep. Another thing you can do is a bedtime routine. Yep. Even with a newborn, you can do a bedtime routine, and this is very helpful to them because children, even little babies, thrive on consistency. Even if it is short and sweet, make sure you are doing a bedtime routine to help prep them and let them know that sleep is coming. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, children should be placed on their backs to sleep to help prevent SIDS. But if you haven't realized with your own child, they don't really like their backs. They would prefer to be a stomach sleeper. It is the most comfortable position for them. So how can you get your little one sleeping on his or her back? Here are some suggestions. The first thing is you want to put them in a swaddle. Get them swaddled. If they want their hands, go ahead, put their hands up by their face when you swaddle them. That way they have their hands because that is so beneficial to them. Another thing you can do is give them a pacifier. Little newborns need and love things to suck. So make sure you give them that pacifier that will help them to be comfortable sleeping on their back. Another thing is to lay them down drowsy. So you don't want to be laying them down when they're already asleep. You want them to be very tired on the way to fall asleep when you put them down so that they can fall asleep on their own in their sleep space. Now, I want you to be very cautious about putting anything in their crib or bassinet with them. You don't want to have any type of positioners. Babies should be flat on a firm fitted sheet mattress. You don't want to have any kinds of towel rolls, docket tots, any kind of thing that will prop your baby or help them to be in a certain position. Unfortunately, that is not the safest option. You want nothing in their crib or bassinet with them, and you want them flat. So make sure that that is how you are putting them down. Another thing is to be consistent. This is a learning process for your little one. They are going to need a lot of repetition from you to learn how to sleep well and sleep on their backs. So a lot of repetition, staying consistent, will really help them to learn how to do this. And the last thing is that if your child does roll over, that's okay. You can leave them on their stomach. You don't need to roll them back over. They are more than capable of rolling themselves and being strong enough to sleep on their stomach. So if your child does roll, that's fine. You still want to always place them down on their back, but allowing them to roll if they're able is still safe. So let's talk about getting your child back to sleep at night. So every child is different. It's really hard to say, here is the one thing that will work for everyone, so give it a shot. It's not quite that simple. And I'm sure that you are working through trying all the things to get your little one back to sleep so that you can sleep as well. And I hope that these next tips are really helpful and can guide you to get your little one quickly back to sleep. So the first thing is you want to wait a few minutes. Even if it's about 3 to 5 minutes, just wait. Because oftentimes what happens is babies are noisy sleepers and parents will quickly hear their child, go over to them, get them up, and they might not have really been awake. You might be the one causing the wake-ups. So if you hear your little one, just give your child a little bit of time. Even if they are beginning to wake up, they might just go right back to sleep. So allow some space for them to go back to sleep or stay asleep if that might be the case. If you have waited that 3 to 5 minutes, then it is okay to go to them and help them to get back to sleep. Now, if you're finding that you are up constantly, feeding every 2 hours, month after month, it might not be that your child needs that nourishment. They might just be looking at that feeding as comfort. So I want you to take a look at what your child is doing when they are nursing at night. If they are quickly feeding and falling right back to sleep, chances are it's not for nourishment. You really want to make sure they have that full feeding. So checking on feedings is one thing that you can do to make sure that they are really needing that. If you're finding that, okay, my child really doesn't need that feeding, what can I do? Go back to those 5 S's. The movement, the swinging, the shushing, all of that really helps settle your little one. So being consistent, implementing these 5 S's will get your little one calm again, ready to be laid down to sleep for more of the night. And the last tip that I'm going to give is that your little one honestly may just be getting too much daytime sleep. Sleep is a math calculation. If they're getting too much in the day, then they're not going to sleep at night. So if you're finding that your little one wakes up for 2-3 hours at a time at night, they might be getting too much daytime sleep. So again, grab that schedule in the description below because you want to make sure that you are giving the appropriate amount of sleep, the appropriate amount of wake times during the day so that your little one is ready and set up for nighttime. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you grabbed some tips to try to implement with your little one. Go ahead in the comments below, let me know what are some of your struggles that you are having. Or if you found a solution that helps with your little one, go ahead, let me know what that is. I would love to hear. If you have a child that is a little bit older than newborn, that is either 16 weeks from due date or 12 pounds, and you have got the approval from your pediatrician to sleep train, go ahead and email me at littlesleepersanddreamers@gmail.com. I would love to connect with you and help you on a sleep training journey. Don't forget to like this video by giving it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the alert bell as more videos will be coming your way. I'll see you in the next one. Sweet dreams.